tonight on Ctv3 News. Orange Walk records its first murder for 2026 as 24-year-old Albertito Potts is gunned down while inside his grandmother's yard. His attacker releases a slew of bullets upon him. In San Pedro, there is a bloodbath as 3 persons are tonight dead, 2 men and 1 woman. Was Karim Nazim Espat the intended target? As investigations continue, police heighten security across San Pedro to avoid retaliation. In matters related to the sugar belt, Belize's sugar minister clarifies role in proposed settlement, emphasizes farmer choice and industry strain. And Belize welcomes ICJ ruling allowing Guatemala's intervention in Sapo de la Keys case. Minister Fonseca says it will aid resolution. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, March 28, 2026.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
ExpressNet now has up to 400 megabytes of high-speed internet. Choose the speed that fits you. From faster browsing to faster gaming. Connect more devices at once. Or bundle it with Express Plus and HBO Max. Internet and streaming entertainment, all in one.
Yeah, faster starts here.
Sign up today at any Centaur office or contact us to get started.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
The way some people are talking you'd never know, but the most blatant nepotism and fleecing of BTL took place under UDP when Dean Barrow was Prime Minister. Barrow placed his son Anwar on BTL's board in 2009 as soon as he nationalized the company, which would eventually cost Belizeans almost $650 million for shares barely worth $200 million. By 2014, Anwar was appointed executive chairman with extravagant salary and perks. Under him, BTL spent wildly on ventures that did not materialize and never brought any returns. Under the Barrows, BTL's profits plummeted from $38 million in 2009 to $17 million in 2019, and $10 million in 2020, as the company hardly paid dividends to government and people of Belize. Anwar Barrow has no moral authority to talk about BTL, as it was under his nepotistic rule, appointed by his father, that BTL was most blatantly fleeced.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
We recently formed MOUs with the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute, which is the education arm of the American Hotel and Lodging Association, and also with the American Culinary Federation to do culinary training. We're here to celebrate our accomplishments. And this is not about replacing Belizean cuisine. This is about, we want the Belizean cuisine, we want the Belizean richness and diversity. Right? So this is about your skills. You all know what you all learned, so it's about transferring that skill.
We want to inspire this career because, you know, it's amazing. You love what you do, right? And it really is something that I think we can inspire other young Belizeans to undertake. And it's now part of your responsibility as those who have received this training and see a pathway for greater things.
Just to put it into perspective, there's only about 6,000 certified executive chefs in North America. There is only 69 certified master chefs in the world. There is less than 10 certified executive pastry chefs in this entire world. And now in Belize, we have 3 sitting in this room.
When speed matters, every second counts. Get ahead with ExpressNet. Fast, reliable, ready when you are.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. A quiet Friday morning in Orange Walk town was shattered by gunfire after a lone masked gunman stormed a residential yard and carried out a deadly close-range attack that claimed the life of a young man. The victim, 24-year-old Albertito Pot, had just arrived at his grandmother's home on Palmetto Street around 6 a.m. to pick up his uncle for work. The two sat beneath a shed on the northern side of the yard talking in the early hours of the day. But at approximately 7 a.m., their morning routine turned violent. A man dressed in a blue long-sleeve hoodie, black ski mask, and a long pants entered the yard armed with a black handgun. As the intruder approached, Pot and his uncle sprang to their feet and attempted to flee towards the back of the property. Gunshots rang out as the attacker opened fire. Pot was hit and collapsed to the ground. The gunman then reportedly walked up to him and, in a chilling display of violence, fired several more shots at close range, fatally wounding him. The assailant then turned his weapon towards Pot's uncle, firing additional shots as he escaped by leaping over a fence into a neighboring yard. He managed to get away with only a minor injury to his ankle. The gunman fled the scene on foot, running along Palmetto Street before turning onto Guanacaste Street, where he made his escape. Pat was later transported to the Northern Regional Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment. Authorities believe the killing was targeted.
Okay, this morning around 7:15 p.m., police responded to a shooting incident in Orange Walk. Upon arrival, they saw the lifeless body of a male person with gunshot injuries. He was identified as Albertito Pot. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Information is that Pot was at the area at the time along with another male person when somebody jumped a fence and fired several shots, causing his fatal injuries. Investigation into this matter continues.
Police have also indicated that Pot was known to them and had been named in previous investigations.
Well, we did some investigations where he was brought in for questioning.
In relation to
our shootings, yeah.
Recent?
A couple of months back.
No arrests have been made as investigations continue. Our attempts to speak to family members today proved futile. A deadly shooting occurred late Thursday night just a mile south of San Pedro town, resulting in the deaths of 3 individuals, 2 men and 1 woman. Authorities believe the incident is a recent escalation in a prolonged drug-related conflict on the island. According to police reports, shots rang out around 9:58 p.m. at an elevated wooden residence in the Mosquito Coast area. Upon arrival, officers discovered 2 men, 29-year-old fisherman Kareem Nazim Espat and 35-year-old carpenter Oscar Modesto Mas lying motionless with gunshot wounds. A third victim, 21-year-old Honduran national Yerlin Marisol Bueso Alvarez, was rushed to the San Pedro Polyclinic with gunshot injuries. Despite medical efforts, she succumbed to her wounds shortly after midnight. Authorities indicated that the victims were inside Mas's home along with Espat's wife when three men dressed in hooded jackets entered the premises. One of the assailants reportedly entered the house and opened fire. Espat's wife managed to escape unscathed. The gunmen then fled the scene. Investigators recovered several spent 9mm shells and 12-gauge cartridges at the crime scene. Assistant Commissioner of Police Alberto Romero stated that Espat was known to law enforcement and is believed to have been the intended target.
Information is that all these three male persons were in a house at the time when several male persons arrived at the area. One of them entered the house and fired several shots at them, causing their fatal injuries. We have several suspects in custody for this triple murder.
Sir, you know, they were at a location about 1 mile south of the main town. Is this an area they were known to be at, or were they, so to speak, hiding out and then their rivals?
Well, that is the residence of Modesto Mas, and the others were there staying.
Okay, so do you believe that Mr. Espat was the target? We know he has faced multiple charges.
That is the information we have. He was the intended target.
What is the motive at this time? What have you all been able to
This is ongoing rival with the two groups in San Pedro over drugs.
Can you give any description in terms of the weapon utilized in this incident?
Well, found at the scene were 9mm expended shells as well as 12-gauge cartridge shells.
In response to the violence, authorities have dispatched a major crimes unit to San Pedro and increased police patrols across the island to prevent potential retaliatory acts.
We have several incidents involving them at San Pedro, and it calms down, and then they come back and these shootings happen.
No, there were ongoing cases involving Mr. Espat, and also I think the trial for the murder of the child some years ago on San Pedro was also coming up. Was Mr. Espat targeted because of ongoing court cases?
I mentioned earlier, this is rivalry over drugs with these two groups in San Pedro.
How familiar are the police with the three victims?
The Espat is known to us, but the other two, no, they are not known to us.
So these persons were probably not the intended targets.
They were inside the house at the time, and they were shot by the person who entered.
The individuals that police have detained, are they members of a rivaling gang?
That is correct. They are from a rival faction from San Pedro.
Okay, well, and then was there any indication that had there been any recent incidents between these two which may have been a prelude or a preview of this?
Not that we know of. We have several incidents in the past, but we have none that is very recent.
And then explain to me it's a I guess you call it a major crimes investigation. Explain to me, it's not a normal homicide investigation. You all have escalated it?
Yes, we have deployed our major crimes team as well as additional personnel have been sent to San Pedro to prevent any form of retaliation. So the investigation continues today, and we have several suspects in custody for this shooting.
What's the expectation in terms of retaliation, and what are you trying to do?
Well, there is also a threat of retaliation, so we will deploy personnel to try and prevent any form of retaliation.
Was this Mr. Espat known as leader among a faction in his community?
Well, he has been charged before for various crimes, and he was on bail.
Espat is no stranger to the law. He had previously encounters with law enforcement. In July 2025, he was remanded to the Belize Central Prison after being charged with gang membership. He was accused of being affiliated with the San Pedrito gang. When he appeared before the magistrate's court in Belize City alongside other detainees, he pleaded not guilty. Due to the offense falling under the Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act, bail was initially denied. However, Espat was later released from custody under circumstances that remain unclear. Police are investigating a fatal accident that resulted in the death of a 16-year-old boy from Lourdes Bank in the Belize district on Thursday evening. The incident occurred along the Philip Golson Highway between miles 10 and 11. According to reports, officers arrived at the scene around 5 p.m. to find the body of Alex Griffith, who had succumbed to his injuries. Early investigations suggest that Griffith was riding his bicycle when he lost control, fell onto the roadway, and was struck by a passing bus. The vehicle involved was reportedly driven by Jonathan Eck.
Information is that this person was riding a bicycle. When he lost control, he fell on the street and he was run over by a Tillit bus being driven by Jonathan Eck. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. An investigation is being carried out into this fatal accident.
Would you say that he is, will the driver be charged since he literally fell in the path of the bus?
A thorough investigation will be conducted. The file will be sent to the DPP. Then we will await the directives. Full investigation will be carried out.
What do we know about the child at this point in time, where he was coming from, where he was going?
The information is that he was heading home on a bicycle.
Authorities have confirmed that the bus was properly registered and insured at the time of the crash. Whether excessive speed may have contributed to the incident is also being investigated. In the wake of the tragedy, Sadie Vernon Technical High School released a heartfelt statement. The school expressed their sorrow over the loss of one of their students, saying Alex was a beloved member of our school community for 2 years. His lively spirit, warmth, and positive energy touched everyone around him. We are deeply saddened by his passing. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and all who knew him. May they find comfort and strength in the memories they shared. Minister of Sugar Industry Osmond Martinez is seeking to clear up what he describes as a misunderstanding surrounding a proposal involving the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association. The issue stems from a proposed settlement made public this week, which calls on the BSAFA to withdraw its lawsuit against State and Lyle Sugars and Belize Sugar Industries over fair trade premiums. In exchange, a letter of enhancement will be signed with Tate and Lyle, allowing for the resumption of fair trade payments in the upcoming crop season. While the proposal is intended to be negotiated between the parties, government has indicated it will be open to provide monetary relief to the BSAFA, since acceptance of the proposal would effectively require the BSAFA to forfeit an estimated $11 million in fair trade premiums accumulated over several crop years. Despite public perception, Martinez says that the initiative did not originate from government. According to the minister, it was the BSAFA that approached the government of Belize seeking assistance amid ongoing financial strain in the sugar industry.
Government of Belize has even conditioned it. It was a response based on their request, and we have the letter.
So then,
and they also came to my office. They went to PM office, the chairman of BSCFA, with other members, saying that they want to work with us. They need the fair trade. They believe that they were not going to get it. So for us, it doesn't matter which way or whatever they want to do. We will respect it. We will support them. We are supporting them. Unprecedented as is on the budget debate, we will announce a $14 million stimulus plan to the sugar industry. So we at no point has encouraged or discouraged them to do whatever they want. We just responded to a letter. And if you look at the letter, I can share the letter with you that we sent to them, because the letter says, in response to your letter, so and so and so, this is what we can do.
Okay, what date is that letter?
I think they sent the letter in January or before then. It's stated in the letter, so you will be able to see it. Because what they share to you all is, even on ethical, it's just a little piece, you know, like that's what all the PM have been saying. But in reality, we responded to a whole letter that they have requested to us. And in the letter, where that condition is because they stated that they are willing to drop the case if government help them, because they understand that the fair trade was a voluntary market. But I mean, it's not the government who has even initiated that. We didn't even think about it. It was them who started that negotiation.
With reports of division within the association's leadership and membership, the minister says government has recommended that the BSCFA convene a general meeting to allow farmers to collectively decide on the way forward.
Industry. So anywhere that you want to deal at the association level, then that is fine. But I just want to be categorically clear that I don't want to give opinions on the whether or how things work within their associations. I think that's internal affairs, and they will take it to the general to their general meeting, which then is it's very good.
Martinez also addressed reports that government had committed to providing the financial support, clarifying that no such guarantee has been made, and maintained that the responsibility lies with the BSCFA to determine whether to accept the proposal.
Where they had their attorney, and they invited me. I didn't show up to the meeting. I didn't call the meeting. They invited me. And so that was one of the points of discussion. And it was a follow-up meeting because they have been in back and forth in terms of part of their, I am assuming that a few of them want to go one way, others want to go the other way. And then they wanted me in the meeting. We didn't make any commitment at all. I told them, and I was very clear, that whatever request, they should put it in writing, and we will take it back to the Prime Minister, who is the substantive minister, and also the Minister of Finance. And that's what we did. And I mean, and you can ask, for example, Marcos Osorio, who is one of the persons on those meetings who was there, and he can witness that, who is not a member of the BSCFA. But in my part, I again, I think that their internal politics, we don't want to interfere with it. We believe in democracy. We believe in their rights. And whatever they decide is an option that they have. We will never even try to intervene. All that we're doing is responding to a request that was sent to us.
According to Minister Martinez, government's main concern is that cane farmers have been missing out on fair trade premiums in recent years.
Farmers then, and they feel like they have a strong case, then that's an option that they have. But if they feel that they will not win the case and they will continue for another 3-4 years, and the most vulnerable people who are the farmers continue to suffer, then that's another problem that we need to look at. And so all that been looking at is to see how they can put the farmers first. At no point the government has been taking any side. We are under the leadership of PM Briceño, we have been clear that we work for the industry and not serve associations. We work for everyone, independently of any political affiliation, independently of the name of any association. And so they have the right, their internal mandate, to do as they wish. If they lost the case against ASR, BSI. Government was the first one to intervene. You know, the leadership of PM Briceño was there to intervene and to put in place, proper procedures in place and to negotiate with ASI, BSR to mitigate that problem and that the cost will not be passed on to BSCFA. So that shows that we are not into one-sided. We want the industry to prosper, and for them to prosper, we need the industry to work collectively, peacefully, with one vision in mind, and at no point we will take away the strong negotiations in the table, which should benefit all parties.
Coming up next, Joseph Bonnet still detained in Guatemala amid uncertain diplomatic efforts. Stay tuned.
The Orange Walk Town Council is inviting applications from suitably qualified and motivated individuals to fill 5 garbage fee collector positions within our revenue department. Minimum requirements: high school diploma, friendly and people-oriented personality, tech-savvy, must own reliable transportation, preferably a motorcycle, honest and dependable. Interested applicants are asked to submit the following documents: application letter, copy of high school diploma, valid social security card, 2 character references. Applications must be submitted in person to the Orange Walk Town Council office by February 20th, 2026. Join our team and contribute to keeping Orange Walk clean and organized.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails, paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit provides comprehensive information services to assist citizens in obtaining official documentation related to key life events. You can apply for birth, death, marriage, adoption, or deed poll certificates for records that have already been registered. You can also request tailored information extracts or certified copies of documents about specific life events. All Vital Statistics information services are available through the new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS. You can complete all services online from the comfort of your own home, or if you prefer face-to-face interaction or need additional support, you can visit their nearest office to complete any service. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.bz today to access our services.
There's a saying I often return to, and that is a Chinese saying, that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Today, Belize chooses now, because Belize has always lived under the shade of the tree. Remember Sobumbra floreo. Our forests, mangroves, rivers, and farms are not just features of our landscape, they are part of who we are as a people. They protect us from storms, feed our families, support livelihoods, and anchor our resilience in a changing climate. But we also know this truth: what we do not protect, we will eventually lose.
Greening Belize, 1 million trees for climate and sustainable development. Our forest cover is declining, especially after the fire season. What will be achieved? Restore and reforested lands, significant increase in hectares restored by 2035. Enhance carbon sequestration. We'll have improved data, mapping and reporting systems with this. Institutional readiness, feasibility study and design for a national forestry incentive program. Community mobilization, which will build capacity and increase participation nationally. and improved governance.
For all environmentally conscious individuals and groups, CBOs, NGOs, community organizations, universities, come in to do their part to plant trees to assist in the restoration initiative for the country of Belize.
When speed matters, every second counts. Get ahead with ExpressNet. Fast, reliable, ready when you are.
Primera llegada con peligro por parte de Pod. Vemos la repetición. Llegan los linderos del área. La número 7 llegó con todo Pod. Estamos en vivo, en directo a través del canal 53 de Centaur. Izquierda viene cámara. El número 7 saca el disparo largo. El disparo de cámara.
Nosotros somos los campeones, estamos listos para National.
Haitian national Joseph Budner remains detained in prison in Guatemala with no immediate indication of his return home. Budner was reportedly taken to Guatemala in August of last year under unclear circumstances. Since then, his case has drawn growing public attention. Earlier this week, Prime Minister John Braceno suggested that Budner's return could be facilitated through a possible prisoner exchange between Belize and Guatemala. However, that option now appears unlikely. Minister of Foreign Affairs Francis Fonseca clarified this week that no such agreement currently exists between the two countries. His comments indicate that while discussions may be ongoing, there is no formal arrangement in place to secure Budner's release through a swap. As a result, Budner is expected to remain in Guatemala custody while diplomatic efforts continue.
Yeah, well, we do not have any prisoner exchange agreement or treaty between Belize and Guatemala. So there's no basis for us to have a prisoner swap. But we are, as I've said repeatedly, we are at the embassy in Guatemala in contact with Mr. Budner. We are there to provide support to him in any way that we can. So if he, asks us to do anything on his behalf in terms of reaching out to the Guatemalan government or the Guatemalan administration, then we will certainly do that. We will certainly do that.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Francis Fonseca, has reaffirmed the country's long-standing relationship with Cuba, even as questions arise about the future of cooperation under shifting international pressures. Cuba, however, continues to face a complex situation internationally. The island nation has long operated under economic sanctions imposed by the United States, which have affected its economy and its ability to engage freely in global trade. In recent years, Cuba has also been under increased scrutiny for its overseas medical missions, including the Cuban Medical Brigade program, which supplies doctors and nurses to countries in need. Against this backdrop, Belize is now carefully assessing its next steps. Questions are mounting over the future of its long-running partnership with the Cuban Medical Brigade, a program that has played a critical role in supporting Belize's healthcare system, particularly in undeserved communities.
Yeah, I think it's well documented that Cuba is going through a very, very difficult and challenging period. Some describe it as the most difficult and challenging period in the last perhaps 40 years for Cuba. So, Belize obviously has been monitoring that situation very carefully. I think it's no secret the U.S. position on Cuba is well documented. Belize's position on Cuba is well established. As recently as last year at the UN General Assembly, the Prime Minister stated very clearly Belize's position. We have consistently called for an end to the embargo, the lifting of the sanctions, the removal of the designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. But what Cuba is dealing with now is obviously a very, very serious humanitarian crisis. So we have discussed this matter in CARICOM. We've been discussing this matter. As you all know, at the last heads of government meeting that we attended, the Prime Minister and I attended in St. Kitts, we had an opportunity to engage with the U.S. Secretary of State, Rubio. And of course, one of the topics on the agenda was Cuba. The Americans have made no secret about the fact that this is a priority issue for them in the Western Hemisphere. So we have been listening to them. We have been talking to them about to hear their position on Cuba. We have shared our position with them.
On the matter of the Cuban Medical Brigade, Minister Fonseca explains the government is actively exploring its options.
Now, in terms of the brigade, the medical brigade, that is a matter that we are reviewing in light of the circumstances in Cuba, the changing circumstances in Cuba. We are looking at options in terms of what do we do. So we're discussing that with Cuba. I want to, of course, place on record that our deep gratitude to the Cuban government and people for the brigade. The brigade obviously has played a critical role in the development of our health system here in Belize, particularly in rural communities where their doctors have served. So currently we have about 92 medical professionals serving in Belize. 45 of them, as I understand it, are doctors. So we're looking at that. And what we have done, Cabinet has asked that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs work along with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to devise a plan that will present different options to Cabinet for us to look at.
Sounds like an exit strategy, though.
Well, that may be one option, so that may be one option. But the whole point is that given the circumstances, what is happening in Cuba, we have to be prepared. And so we have to have a plan. Whether it's a transition plan, we have to have a plan to ensure that our health system is protected.
As these discussions continue, the future of Belize's collaboration with the Cuban Medical Brigade remains uncertain, with decisions likely to reflect both diplomatic considerations and the country's long-term relationship. Minister of Sugar Industry Oswald Martinez is reporting positive developments in Belize's sugar sector as the current crop season progresses. According to Martinez, the grinding season is going smoothly, with notable improvements in the quality of cane being delivered to mills. He says these gains reflect ongoing efforts by stakeholders across the industry to strengthen production standards and efficiency.
So far, it's about 35% completed. We still have about 60 to 65% that needs to be to cut and mill them. But the crop is going very well so far. A stock assessment was completed, which means is an estimate of how many canes or how many tons of canes are on the field. So as to plan properly on how much should be milled per day before the rainy season starts, because one of the objectives is that we should leave no cane behind.
The minister also highlighted progress in addressing fusarium, a disease that has previously affected cane yields. He noted that coordinated efforts by farmers and industry partners have paid off, with visible improvements being recorded across the sector. Martinez says the overall outlook for the industry is encouraging as continued collaboration and targeted interventions are helping to stabilize and improve performance.
Timely intervention of the government back in July, August, October, in terms of putting that stimulus package of $2.5+ million through the application of fusarium. It did pay off. We have very good returns on investments. Nonetheless, we are also we have started to work in doing preventative measures with fusarium, but also with the issues of mealybugs that are on the farm, so as to continue to increase the yield per acres for the next crop. So in parallel, while we celebrate the good performance this year, we are also preparing for next year's harvest and production.
Belize's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has welcomed the recent development at the International Court of Justice concerning sovereignty over the Zapadilla Keys. The court has granted Guatemala permission to intervene in the case, which was initiated in 2022 after Belize sought legal confirmation of its sovereignty over the island chain. Honduras also lays claim to the Zapadilla Keys in its constitution. Guatemala, which also asserts a claim to the territory, applied to join the proceedings in 2023, citing a long-standing legal interest. During public hearings last year, Belize indicated it had no objection to Guatemala's involvement, while Honduras opposed the move. In its ruling, the court determined that Guatemala met all legal requirements to participate in the case. In a statement, Belize's foreign minister described the decision as a step forward towards resolving the two ongoing sovereignty matters before the ICJ, Guatemala's border territorial claim and the question of ownership of the Zapadilla Keys.
Yeah, I mean, not surprised at all. I mean, as you know, Belize offered no objections to Guatemala joining the case. So it was our legal team expected that would be the result. And so we're not surprised at all. And, you know, in fact, the thinking of the legal team is that is in Belize's interest. That's our objective. We want the entirety of these matters to be resolved. And so Guatemala's involvement there will help to, you know, achieve that objective.
While some may consider this development bad for Belize, Minister Fonseca says it will actually help in getting the issue resolved.
No, well, that would be a wrong understanding of the outcome of the case. You know, as I said, our legal team made submissions to the court. I would invite people to review those submissions. They were very clear about our position on this matter. We thought it was in the interest of all the parties, and of course in the interest of Belize, that Guatemala join the case so that all these issues can be resolved once and for all definitively. So no surprise at all in terms of the decision. The Belizean people should not be excited about the fact that Guatemala has joined the case and the court has ruled that Guatemala can join the case. That was expected. And as I said, I believe that is in the interest of Belize's case moving forward.
And while some may consider this development bad for Belize, Minister Fonseca says it will actually help in getting the issue resolved.
No, well, that would be a wrong understanding of the outcome of the case. You know, as I said, our legal team made submissions to the court. I would invite people to review those submissions. they were very clear about our position on this matter. We thought it was in the interest of all the parties, and of course in the interest of Belize, that Guatemala join the case so that all these issues can be resolved once and for all definitively. So no surprise at all in terms of the decision. The Belizean people should not be excited about the fact that Guatemala has joined the case and the court has ruled that Guatemala can join the case. That was expected. And as I said, I believe that is in the interest of Belize's case moving forward.
The Belize Government Lotteries Limited BGLL is alerting the public to a surge in fraudulent social media activity falsely promising access to winning numbers for its lottery games. Authorities stress that these schemes, often targeting popular draws such as Bolido, Ordinary, and the Jackpot Lottery, are illegal and designed to exploit unsuspecting individuals. The organization emphasized that strict safeguards are in place to ensure the fairness and transparency of every draw. To further reinforce transparency, the lottery draw are open to public viewing and are broadcasted live on Love FM, allowing citizens to witness the process in real time. Officials also clarified that lottery tickets are not sold through social media, messaging apps, or any unofficial channels. Only authorized vendors are permitted to distribute tickets. Authorities caution participating in or supporting these scams could lead to criminal charges under Belizean law. BGLL is calling on the public to remain cautious and work collectively to uphold the integrity of the country's lottery system while protecting vulnerable individuals from fraud. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
From whiskeys and wines to elegantly crafted cocktails. Paired with charcuterie boards and perfectly seasoned steak bites, and much more. Perfect for celebrations, quiet nights, and every special occasion in between. 7 Notes Wine and Spirits, where every sip hits the right note.
When speed matters, every second counts. Get ahead with ExpressNet. Fast, reliable, ready when you are.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
The way some people are talking you'd never know, but the most blatant nepotism and fleecing of BTL took place under UDP when Dean Barrow was Prime Minister. Barrow placed his son Anwar on BTL's board in 2009 as soon as he nationalized the company, which would eventually cost Belizeans almost $650 million for shares barely worth $200 million. By 2014, Anwar was appointed executive chairman with extravagant salary and perks. Under him, BTL spent wildly on ventures that did not materialize and never brought any returns. Under the Barrows, BTL's profits plummeted from $38 million in 2009 to $17 million in 2019, and $10 million in 2020, as the company hardly paid dividends to government and people of Belize. Anwar Barrow has no moral authority to talk about BTL, as it was under his nepotistic rule, appointed by his father, that BTL was most blatantly fleeced.
They got so much things to say right now. They got so much things to say.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart. bringing people together.
This building that we have gotten, the Welcome Center, is not just walls and it's not just here to beautify the Punta Gorda town and as an extension the Toledo district and Belize, but it's also here to play a main purpose and a role, and that is to continue to promote our tourism sector in Belize. This provides us a platform and a venue for us to be able to do multiple things in working towards enhancing the tourism environment in Toledo and really showcasing it not only to locals but also to our international guests, which are paramount for us to continue to grow this industry.
This project, like others that we're working on throughout the country, was designed and is being delivered by Belizeans. We have spoken to the communities, we've spoken to tourism stakeholders and what needs to be done to ensure that we have the necessary infrastructure to improve the quality of the visitor experience.
The government of Canada has issued a revised travel advisory for Belize, cautioning Canadian citizens to remain vigilant amid rising violence across the Central American nation. The updated guidance emphasizes the importance of exercising a high degree of caution due to widespread criminal activity, including gang-related violence and drug trafficking. In particular, Southside Belize City has been designated as a high-risk zone. Authorities strongly recommend avoiding non-essential travel to this area, citing ongoing issues with gang conflicts, shootings, and homicides. While tourists are generally not targeted directly, officials warn that being in the wrong place at the wrong time could expose visitors to danger. Beyond crime, the advisory highlights health and safety concerns. Poor road conditions, limited access to emergency medical services, unsafe water and food supplies, and hazards associated with adventure and water-based activities pose additional dangers. Special caution is advised for women, attendees of mass gatherings who may face harassment or other safety issues. Travelers are reminded that Belize enforces strict laws against drug possession and firearms with severe penalties for violations. Medical facilities, especially in rural areas, may lack adequate resources, underscoring the need for preparedness. The Canadian government recommends that travelers register with local consular services, stay informed through local news, adhere to the instructions of Belizean authorities, and take personal precautions to ensure safety during their visit. In a significant step towards boosting Belize's agricultural exports, Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, Minister of Agriculture, Food Security, and New Growth Industries, engaged in a high-level talk with Guatemalan officials aimed at streamlining the transit of Belizean products through Guatemala en route to El Salvador. The discussions, held in collaboration with key Belizean representatives, Mr. Francisco Gutierrez, Technical Director of Plant Health for the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, and Mr. Fermin Blanco, OYERSA's representative in Belize, focus on establishing clear protocols for transporting sealed containers of agricultural goods across borders. Officials from both nations engage in constructive dialogue, laying the groundwork for an efficient transit process that could open new opportunities for Belize's farmers and exporters. El Salvador, sharing a border with Belize, is a vital market for Belizean food exports, and recent negotiations have been notably fruitful. The upcoming agreement is expected to enhance trade flows and bring economic benefits to Belize's agricultural sector, reinforcing the country's commitment to opening new markets and strengthening regional trade ties. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, March 23rd, here on Ctv3 News and Face FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3 News VZ. From all of us here at CTV3, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening.